G'day everyone, Artist Wayne here with Ram Van Man episode 21. Jacqui and I have been on our amazing mighty Murray River run, and we are well on our way to following the Murray River all the way to the ocean. Welcome to Port Elliot. Jacqui and I would spend 6 glorious nights here, exploring places like Victor Harbour, the river port of Goolwa and beyond. So let's jump straight to it. We left the Big 4 caravan park in Loxton and we pointed our ram and caravan in the direction of Port Elliot. At over 250 kilometres away, it was a big drive for us.
Hello.
So after an hour's drive, we stopped off in the beaut little town of Corunda for morning tea. This pleasant and quiet township came into existence when a bore was dug and reliable water ensured that farming could begin in this area of the South Australian Mallee. The railway arrived a year later and a town grew up to serve the surrounding agricultural area, which is noted for its fine merino sheep, crops of wheat and barley, and its breeding of pigs, beef, cattle and alpacas. You can also step back in time in Corunda's Pioneer Park, which is a significant historical attraction and a must-see for visitors. Showcasing the district's pioneering history, from the construction of the railway to the vital agricultural industry and everyday farming community life. Maintained by the Corunda Historical Society in partnership with the District Council, Corunda East Murray, the park presents a window into Corunda's colourful past. And it's definitely a place Jacqui and I will return to and stay at. We then made a beeline to Murray Bridge, a city in the Australian state of South Australia, located 78 kilometres east-southeast of the state's capital city. So once we passed through Murray Bridge, it was only an hour later and we had arrived at our destination. The Big 4 Breeze Holiday Park in Port Elliot would be our home for the next 6 nights, where Jacqui and I could enjoy stunning beaches, secluded hinterland and the rural outback. We have arrived, Port Elliot. After all this time travelling through the New South Wales outback desert, following the Darling River all the way to the mighty Murray, Jacqui and I had now followed the Murray River all the way to the South Australian coast. And let me tell you, we were super excited for tomorrow because we couldn't wait to explore this hidden treasure in South Australia. There are many different ways to explore the Fleurieu Peninsula, and Jacqui and I were keen to try them all. The Fleurieu Peninsula is a playground, a place of sparkling seas and flourishing vines, a place of whales and seals and leafy sea dragons, a place that reliably leaves people feeling happy, which is how Jacqui and I were feeling as we did the 6-kilometre bike ride to Victor Harbour. The natural beauty here will take your breath away, and Jacqui and I were ready to immerse ourselves in the best South Australia had to offer. So we headed straight to the information centre. And let me tell you, my fellow adventurers, this was by far the best information centre I've ever been to. This 150-year-old heritage-listed building was first used as a railway goods shed in the late 1800s, which explains why the walls are blackened with steam engine soot, why a wooden crane is still in the building, and why steel rails are still visible under the floor. In 1994, the goods shed became the South Australian Whale Centre. And in 2021, the Victor Harbour City Council began the process of amalgamating the Visitor Centre with the South Australian Whale Centre. This place is chock-a-block full of whale bones, murals, and a rich history.
Help. They found this skull in the stomach of a great white shark.
There's a lot to see and do in the Victor Harbour Information Centre, and they even have an archaeological sandpit that will keep the kids amused for hours.
What are you doing, Artist Wayne?
Digging for fossils.
And what have you found here?
A fossil digging for fossils. After digging up dinosaurs, it was time to swim on over to the Hotel Victor for a late lunch and to plan how we'd be exploring the area tomorrow. We're going on a train ride. Welcome to South Australia's Steam Ranger Heritage Railway.
We're catching the train today.
The Steam Ranger Heritage Railway operates a number of different heritage steam and diesel-hauled tourist trains between Mount Barker in the Adelaide Hills, up over the crest of the southern Mount Lofty ranges, down to Strathalbyn and on through the coastal holiday towns of Goolwa and Port Elliot to the tourist resort town of Victor Harbour, which is where we caught the train from. And here's a little vid of the steam train operating here, thanks to Barbara, one of the hard-working volunteers.
Just for the video, ready?
Oh look, here she is now.
Hold on. There we go. Thank you.
The hard-working volunteers from the Australian Railway Historical Society operate the trains over 200 days a year, and they're also responsible for maintenance of the rail line and the heritage locomotives and carriages, including one that Princess Di travelled in.
This is the Princess Di carriage.
It was only a half-hour train ride for Jacqui and I before we arrived in the historic river port of Goolwa. Just in time for the Goolwa markets. The town of Goolwa is the place you come to explore towering sand dunes, meander down quiet waterways and roam along snow-white sandy beaches. It's also where the Murray River meets the ocean in the Kurong National Park, so Jacqui and I would need to return. But first we needed to catch the train back to Victor Harbour for a late lunch. Doesn't really matter where you go because everywhere the food is amazing. The following day we were back in Victor Harbour, only this time we weren't bike riding, train riding, camel riding or horse riding. Today we were walking around Granite Island. Here you can take a short stroll or horse tram ride over the causeway that connects the mainland at Victor Harbour to Granite Island Recreational Park. The island is characterised by huge granite boulders tinged with orange lichen. Jacqui and I would enjoy the sound of waves crashing against rocky shores, a stirring soundtrack to our visit. And who knows, maybe Jacqui and I could catch the horse-drawn tram back if we timed it right.
Special place. Absolutely brilliant walk. Absolutely brilliant. Everywhere you look, it's like a postcard.
Well, the Granite Island walk is a 4.5 kilometre walk. But if you can catch the horse-drawn tram back, well, you can split that distance in half, which is exactly what Jacqui and I were planning to do.
Well, the last tram is 2:40. What time is it now?
Well, it's after that, Wayne, so we've missed it.
Sadly, we were returning under our own steam. Not to worry though, because tomorrow we were exploring the beautiful Kurong National Park. So we were up early the following morning, heading to Goolwa.
We are going on a boat cruise.
And after grabbing our tickets, I even found time to make sure the old boys were doing a good job loading timber on the paddle steamer Oscar W.
That's it, fellas. You're doing a good job.
Although today Jacqui and I weren't travelling on a paddle steamer, we were sailing aboard the Spirit of the Kurong. Once we left the port, we had morning tea, and before we knew it, we arrived at the lock that divides the Murray River from the ocean. And as our pinniped mates looked on, we entered what I like to call a boat elevator. You see, whenever they control the water flow using a barrage lock, the water levels are always different. We were now being lowered to sea level, and once that was done, the lockmaster opened the lock and we were off to see where the mighty Murray River empties itself into the Southern Ocean. Next landmass is Antarctica, and we happen to know someone there.
We have followed the Darling River to the Murray River and the Murray River to the sea. The next landmass is Antarctica. Hello, Clyde.
G'day, Clyde.
Our mate Clyde just happened to be on a photo shoot in Antarctica. Anyway, it was almost time for our lunch, but first Daryl, our Indigenous guide, gave us a smoking ceremony before we headed off through the Kurong sand dunes to dip our feet in the cool waters of the Southern Ocean. Our Spirit of the Kurong boat cruise was a fantastic all-day cruise, and when we returned after our exploration through the sandhills, they provided us with a beautiful lunch, including cooked cockles in a coconut chilli and onion sauce. Our next stop would take us over the huge sand dunes, where our guide Daryl would explain to us about how the Indigenous Australians lived in the area. We followed our skipper through the desert. However, due to the harsh conditions, I was slightly concerned that some of the elderly in our party may not make it. And as our Indigenous guide Daryl showed us Aboriginal midden sites, our skipper ran off to dig for water. Are the latrines ready, Private?
Are the what?
Latrines ready, Private?
Exactly, yes.
Beautiful.
We're all set.
Good job. Good job. This is the beautiful water of the Kurong, filtered through the sands of time. Although I couldn't work out why the skipper dug a separate hole for me to drink from.
Just stick something on this, and board it up, sticks, bark, and all sorts, try and keep it as nice as possible.
How do you top off a perfect day like that? Well, you hit the pub, of course. Last night here in beautiful Port Elliot, and we're celebrating with dinner at the local pub. We made the right call dining at the Hotel Elliot. The food was amazing. Sadly, our time in beautiful Port Elliot and exploring her wonderful surrounds had come to an end. So I guess it's time to give our stay a score. We've had 7 fabulous days exploring Port Elliot,
Victor Harbour,
Goolwa,
and of course, Kurong National Park.
and we have absolutely loved it. In fact, I'd go as far as saying we could live here. Anyway, it's a massive 5 out of 5 from me.
And it's definitely a 5 out of 5 from me as well. So take care, everyone, and happy travels until next time. Bye.
See ya.